It has been affected by insecurity. We've seen
tourism is suffering.
We've seen travel advisories. People have been evacuated from this country, withdrawals. Do you think it was justified, first of all, for foreign governments to do that? And do you think the government's reaction to this was right?
Again, this is born out of the knee-jerk reaction that we're getting from the Jubilee regime. They're unable to handle our diplomacy. They're unable to engage our friends. Instead, they're busy warning our friends, insulting our friends, and you've seen it on the media.
Should the president have been more diplomatic? And do you think we can really do without the Western nations in tourism?
Let me be very honest. Let me be very honest tonight. I think today, since independence, and he served as a Minister for Foreign Affairs, today we have the best foreign policy in Kenya. Why do I say that? Honorable Wetangula is saying that we are mishandling our friends. Under his watch as the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the worst corruption happened under his watch as the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
So I mean,
I designed the foreign policy that he's talking about, Hussein.
It's not designing. If it is about foreign policy, the worst foreign policy,
but
where corruption went to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, was under his watch. Let's be very honest to Kenyans.
These are diversionary
I'll give you time to respond to that, but let's try and focus on what you're talking about. Honorable Wetangula has talked about diplomacy. We have seen Western governments going ahead and doing this. They didn't talk to the government. Do they know something we don't? And do you think if there was diplomacy, they would have maybe told the government there's ABCD happening?
It's not the first time travel advisories have been issued by foreign nationals in Kenya. It happened in last government. It can happen now. What is very strange is the kind of evacuation the foreign, mainly the British, are doing.
Can you blame them for that?
And the Jubilee regime must ask themselves hard questions.
And let me finish.
Yes.
If it's because on the war on terror, we are together with the Western powers. Kenya has been and is still a serious target of terror because of Western interests. So you cannot tell us we are together in the war on terror, but when you evacuate your nationals, then we are either together in this war or then we are not together.
Okay. Briefly,
Kenyans must know that travel advisories have always been there whenever there are issues, and every country has the right to do that. But also remember that since our independence, even after the bomb that hit the American embassy, there were no evacuations from this country.
Okay. And
what the Jubilee regime is doing, they have completely abdicated their duty in the diplomatic circles. They're busy exhibiting unhelpful arrogance, insulting our friends.
Kindly let's answer the next question.
I think
kindly, Honorable Duale,
government has shaped the foreign policy.
Right. Kindly, let us answer the next question.
Coming from where we were when Honorable Musa Wetangula was our best foreign diplomat.
You've made that point. I'm sorry to interject you, but let us move to the next point. And let's answer this in less than 1 minute so that we move to Anglo-Leasing. Court has been talking about insecurity and the government blunders.
Yes.
Would you say, or what can you tell us is the best option or alternative to handle insecurity in this country?
We have told the Jubilee regime and anybody who cares to listen that you fight insecurity through intelligence gathering. You fight insecurity through equipping the police and the organs that deal with security. You fight insecurity by getting competent people in office and de-ethnicizing the running of the security sector of the country.
Right.
You will get security properly done if you have the correct people in the right places.
Okay.
And I've told you, things are not right, things are not going well, and what we have is a reactive government that is constantly trying to extinguish fires. They don't even know who is lighting the fires. Constantly running helter-skelter.
Hussein, I'll give you numbers and I'll give you facts. What the Jubilee government has done in terms of security. I agree with him. And I don't want to play ethnic politics.
You agree with him on one point.
I don't want to play ethnic politics to our civil servants. That's being very naive.
Okay.
But
it is unconstitutional to ethnicize any sector.
We have increased the ratio of police officers to the citizenry. We have, for the first time, this government has introduced an insurance policy for our men and women in uniform. For the first time. Better than, let me finish. For the first time, we're doing housing projects for our men and women in uniform. We have doubled the equipment. We have doubled the technology and the labs. And more importantly, as he said, and I agree with him, we need to upscale both our national intelligence gathering, regional and global.
Right.
That is basically.
Let's go to Anglo-Leasing. Let's go to Anglo-Leasing because of time.
This was not there. This was not there in the government that is.
You can see obviously can't answer why we have run away in security. Why are we bombing churches?
We've handled security. You have to bear with us because of time. Let's go to Anglo-Leasing now. President's directive was on Thursday. It's been 5 days. People are already talking. So let me ask you: has that money been paid?
I don't work for the executive, but I can tell you, from the Constitution, Article 223 of the Constitution empowers the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary to pay and come and explain to Parliament. Let me tell you, Maha Hussein, and I want the minister to answer me, and I want him to look at Kenyans. In last government, he was a member of the subcommittee of security. He was a member of the cabinet. They paid 5.6 billion of the Anglo-Leasing project. Honorable Orengo was in that cabinet. Honorable Raila Odinga was the coordinator. He sat in that cabinet. What we did as the Jubilee government was to, because that's what they did was they hid under the carpet.
Right.
What we did was we wanted to show transparency. We wanted to involve
the
public, and we wanted the people's representative.
So that is the question.
Yes. So he sat in that cabinet.
It is very easy, Hussein.
Let him respond.
Why did he pay?
It is very easy, Hussein, to give excuses, which Aden Duale has exhibited extreme distinction in doing that.
5.6 billion.
But let me tell you, the Jubilee government takes to Parliament a motion engineered through the Committee of Finance and say, Parliament give us authority to pay. Parliament becomes restless and says, no, their rank and file rebel. They withdraw the motion. Then in between, the head of state sits at State House and announces that we are going to pay anyway. One, unlawful. Two, unconstitutional. We want to see whether the president has complied with Article 135 of the Constitution that requires every single decision the president makes must be in writing, must be signed, must be sealed. Where is the authority that he gave to pay Anglo-Leasing?
Let me answer that. Because he's not answered my question. I asked him, Anglo-Leasing.
I will go back to that.
Yes.
I will go back to that.
But let me tell you.
He was very specific in that this was also paid for in the last government.
He sat in the subcommittee on security in last cabinet. He sat in the cabinet with Honorable James Orengo. So they paid 5.6 billion.
So is what Jubilee doing very unique, or has it been done?
No, let me tell you, I've not finished. They paid 5.6 billion without the Kenyans not knowing. And Hussein, let me tell you, the question before Kenyans today is not, there's no choice to pay or not to pay. We must pay. There is an international judgment. And Hussein,
international judgment.
Yes, an international judgment.
Engineered through careless handling of a case.
Which was engineered by his co-colleague in the court, Senator Wako, who was the Attorney General.
He has denied that. We can't talk about Wako. He can't defend himself here. Let me have Wetangula respond to what you're saying.
You know, Hussein, two wrongs don't make a right. Anglo-Leasing was a fraud. The president today chaired Public Accounts Committee.
Right.
And he spent taxpayers' money and went up to London. He came and told us the building that was the registered office of Anglo-Leasing somewhere, was it in Manchester or somewhere, was in fact a small disused building that no office existed. He came and said, can't pay, won't pay.
Very good.
Now he's saying, pay immediately.
Hussein, if you read the Public Accounts Committee report,
he said, terminate this legally.
He said this is a monster fraud,
Hussein,
and we will not pay.
Okay.
Hussein, listen.
Your final comment on Anglo-Leasing.
Hussein, the Public Accounts reports of 2006, March 2006, had 3 recommendations. I mean, we must tell the country pure facts and figures.
The indefensible.
He said 3. The recommendations are 3. 1, projects that have started. Anglo-Leasing projects of the 18, the one that have started can be renegotiated. The ones that have not started and payments have been made payments must be returned back.
Yes.
This is what the report says.
Okay, let me just ask this question. This is coming. Honorable Duale, kindly let me give time to Honorable Wetangula.
Yes.
This is coming from the courts. The government said the hands are tied. I would just want to know if it was the court coalition in government right now, faced with a similar situation, how would it have handled this?
We are not being told the whole truth about these cases in the beginning, because we are told cases went to court, we were incompetently represented, there is a judgment which nobody has seen, there's a decree which nobody has seen, there's an order to pay which nobody has seen. You know, we are just deepening the Anglo-leasing mystery as a monstrous fraud that is consuming more and more.
Right, we're running out of time. We're taking a commercial break, gentlemen. We'll be back with this discussion after this short break. Stay tuned.